Welcome to this wonderful Wednesday evening, everyone, and we are back in the world of No Rest for the Wicked, and we got a bit of new information to go over, starting with a highly requested feature that players have wanted for a long time that have been confirmed to be in the next patch this coming week. Next, we have a pretty big storage issue that I think is getting much worse as the days go by, and probably needs some attention. Also, we have a content creator with an awesome showcase on how to fix some of the UI issues in the game, and finally, I'll be going over your comments in the previous video. We got a nice one to talk about today, so let's begin. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Fervor Gaming, where you can stay up to date on the latest in gaming. This includes news, builds, and guides just like you see in today's video. If you like the content you see here today and want to help the channel out, drop me a like to get this video out to other gaming fans, but if it wasn't for you, change it to a dislike. Starting this thing off, we got a quick Twitter post from Mr. Coral, one of the co-founders of No Rest for the Wicked. Check out this tweet. Something is quite strange about this level up screen in Wicked Game. This weird thing might or might not be coming in our biggest patch 2 so far this week. PS, don't expect it to be free. There will be a significant cost. So yeah, it looks like we're finally getting the Respec, or at least it seems like it. I know I promised this so many times to you guys, but I felt like this was hinted at so many times I wasn't sure if it was coming or not, because it does feel like a big priority, but it does look like we're finally going to get Respec. I don't know why he worded it. This weird thing might or might not be coming. I'm not sure if he's playfully saying, oh, it may or may not be coming, or he's like genuinely not sure if it's going to be coming with the patch. I'm assuming it's the former, not the latter, and this one is a much requested feature. Now, one thing I did notice that no one talked about is he said that this is our biggest patch 2. Now, I'm not sure if that means like this is his biggest patch or the biggest patch coming to the game, or if this is just like the second biggest or what the case is, because the last patch was actually fairly large. We got a lot of fixes, a lot of additions to the game, a lot of changes. I know in the previous video we talked about that there was going to be adding like the weapon thing where you can like use whatever weapon, but technically you'll not be able to like use it fully with this full damage and stuff like that. So I'm not sure if this is going to be like even bigger than the previous patch, or if it's just going to be like mildly big comparatively to everything else. I'm expecting the biggest patch with this one based on how this is worded, but let me know what you guys think. Next, check out this really cool mock-up by Cabris. This is another fellow content creator who covers No Rest for the Wicked, and he put together a UI mock-up for all the runes. Now, one of the biggest problems in No Rest for the Wicked at the moment is the fact that runes are not very informative on what they do. A lot of things are not very informative of what they do. So basically, he put together a mock-up to showcase a like UI design on how to put together the runes. It shows you a video preview of the rune in action, the rune description, the detailed information about the runes, the rune list, and the material required to craft the rune. Is there actually a way to craft runes in the game? I guess I didn't realize there was, or maybe this is just his idea of having the possibility to craft runes. I'm not sure. That would actually be really, really great that we could craft them, because I talked about this in a previous video where I have a very hard time to, just get runes, and being able to craft them would be actually really, really nice and actually make the crafting system feel a little bit better. A lot of materials are not being used, and this could actually help. Either way, I will have this content creator down in the description. He actually has a really good video of showcasing all the skills. I think it's the most popular video on his channel. So if you're like trying to see what runes do, go check that out. But yeah, this is a really great idea. Let's move on. Next, check out this post from Mr. Zern over on Reddit. My chests are full. My house is full of chests. Meanwhile, and it shows a picture of pretty much all his resources. This is very well organized. One thing I really wanted to point out is one, I have the same problem. My place is like an Amazon warehouse. There are so many boxes full of just random stuff that I generally don't use. I think most of that has to do with the fact that there's just so many resources in the game. Like, I don't really use healing items because I don't need them. And of course, I'm a filthy hoarder and I can't help myself. I have to have every piece of armor because crafting's actually a little bit hard. So I feel the need to hoard in order to be able to like get the item I need, or I may need for a build if it looks good. Now, the other thing I want to specifically point out is two things. First off, he only has 1 silver bar, as you can see here. And as you can see here, he only has 6 boar tusk. One thing to like really point out about that is some of the crafting recipes require this every single time to have. So if you want to get one of the weapons with one of the runes, or you just want a weapon to like tailor your build, you actually need a lot of these, and there's not really any reliable way of like farming these. You can look at his inventory and you can tell he plays quite a bit, and we don't have a lot of the required crafting materials to really upgrade. And this kind of goes back to one of the previous videos where I talked about that I felt like it was really bad timing that they removed certain things from the shop because there are not a lot of resources available on the map for us to actually go farm things. And this is a prime example of this, where he only has 1 silver bar and he only has like 6 of the boar tusks, which is actually one of the more core crafting materials for weapons. So yeah, I hope the team is looking at stuff like this and recognizing that this actually is a bigger problem than what it is. Yeah, the storage thing is a problem in itself, but looking at the resources that the players have, that's a bigger problem in my eyes, especially as a creator who likes making builds. Now on to my favorite part of the video, where I go over you guys' questions, comments, and concerns. This is the part of the video where I take all you guys' comments and just try to respond to them as much as possible. I will say a few things before we dive into the comments though. First off, I really do appreciate you guys leaving comments. I do want to respond to them. I know some people may perceive the way I like say things as angry, but a lot of that is just passion for those who are not familiar with me. But there's never any hate when it comes to what I say. I do think some players are papagas, but that's not a sin in my eyes. I just want to say that because I don't want anyone to feel like attacked or anything, but at the end of the day, I do have a lot of passion for the game, as probably a lot of you do, so that's where it comes from. Now, if you're wondering what video I'm referring to, this is the video I made the other day called No Rest for the Wicked, promising updates on the way. This is the video where we're talking about the upcoming weapon changes, stats on how the players fared during the launch and beyond, and of course some of the comments when it comes to like nerfing and stuff. First off, I do want to go revisit a comment from Mr. Epion0485. He left a comment in the last video where he talked about certain stat distribution, and to some degree I misunderstood what he meant, having equipment load being only tied to strength, but what he actually meant was a portion of the actual stat themselves. Like for example, you can still spec into equipment load, but then you get strength on top of that. You can actually like get some type of equipment load in addition, so that multiple things can contribute to bringing better stats to the actual character. I misunderstood this, so my apology. But yeah, that is definitely a really good idea. I think this actually works really well. I do think stamina should be combined with equipment load, as you kind of agree with as well, but that is a really good idea. Let's move on to the next one. The next one is from another fellow content creator, Mr. Russian Matt. This is one of the creators I featured in the last video where he was doing his really cool brutish cudgel build, which was really cool. This is actually what inspired part of the video that you see in me playing with my one-hand shield build. This is actually inspired by his video. But yeah, let's go over his comment really quick. Damn, I didn't expect anyone to use my video and spread some love in the comments and description with the link to my channel. I really appreciate it and glad you enjoy some of my builds for this game. As for content of your video here, my personal opinion that they shouldn't bother with nerfs at this stage of the game, at least till they add PvP or more further content to the game. They should focus on broken items in the game, like some rings and legendary weapons for example, and keep working on bug fixes and performance of the game. Also, I'm not sure how they want to go about focus, but they can't just kill focus gain, since it will kill bow and mage builds for the player base who prefer that playstyle over melee. It's a really touchy subject that needs to be addressed properly and really carefully. I spent close to 170 plus hours in the game, the most I've ever did for any early access, and I love every minute of it. I'm really looking forward for the future of this game and want them to succeed. But for now, I am done with it till more stuff will be added, of course, plus Diablo Season 4 is around the corner, and the following month after Elden Ring DLC Winky Face. Now, this is actually a really good comment because it actually covers a few things I am very invested in and want to talk about. First off, is no problem. I really love featuring content creators on my channel. I am not a big creator myself, and the game itself, while it is very good, it doesn't have a lot of traction, and I'd like to foster a community. So like anyone who's a smaller creator, even if you're not a creator, if you want me to feature your build videos on this channel while I'm doing these like news style content, I'll be more than happy to do so. You can leave it down in the comments. I literally read every comment, but I love featuring content creators and people in the community because again, I want to help foster a great community, because just like a lot of you, I see that the game has a lot of potential, and if we have a really nice community behind it, the game does really well. I do want to touch on the nerf thing. Now, I do see the comment a lot where players suggest that I think that there should never be nerfs in the game. I want to be very clear on this, that my stance on nerfing is it should always be the last resort. I don't think it should be the first option that's on the table, which I do think a lot of players are very much like tuned to nerf first. For me personally, I am not a fan of nerfs being the first option. Absolutely, whenever something needs to be nerfed, like for example, as I think I said this in the last video, where there was a staff build that was absolutely just shrekking everything in one hit. But when it comes to it, I feel like nerf should be the last option, not the first option. I do firmly believe that nerfing makes content unfun, and I think players should be powerful. And I don't get the mentality where players feel that you shouldn't be powerful. That's such a weird thing, especially in ARPGs where the power fantasy of any game is just to be powerful. Should players be unkillable, unstoppable after they invest it and gotten everything min-maxed out? I believe so. Should they be able to do it at the beginning of the game? Absolutely not. I still think that a lot of players don't get that we are not at the actual end game of the game. I feel like I say this in every single video, and I feel like I stress this very heavily, that we are not in the end game of the game because there's still so much in the game that we haven't seen yet. So our power relative to what the end game should be is not accurate. Moving past that, I do believe that bug fixes need to be the top priority and getting things working. There's some really good rings that don't work, especially things like overall speed is like really important to a lot of builds in my opinion that's not being usable. And so yeah, I agree with that. And then finally, I know you did touch on the fact that there's going to be Diablo Season 4 as well as Elden Ring DLC. For those of you who are here for No Rest for the Wicked content, just know that I am playing Diablo 4 Season 4. I'm not going to like put that on the channel because I don't think anyone's interested in that. But when the Elden Ring DLC comes out, you better believe that I will be playing that and making build videos and content over it because I am a massive fan of Elden Ring and I am like a Souls-like channel. I will be keeping the channel updated when it comes to things like No Rest for the Wicked, even when like a patch comes out, even if it's in the height of Elden Ring. But do expect to see both of those on the channel in the event that like there's some big updates around the time that Elden Ring comes out. But June the 20th, there will be a lot of Elden Ring DLC videos on this channel, so be ready. Anyways, that is all for this one, guys. Unfortunately, there were not a lot of content to go over. I mean, the update is probably going to be tomorrow or the day after I post this video, so you'll probably see another update video within like the next 24 hours to 48 hours. As usual, down in the description, if you want to check out and join the Discord, there will be a link there. I make other videos on No Rest for the Wicked, so check them out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one very soon.